All right, I'm going live with this one. All right, so I've been seeing for like the last year this little what you call it, flat Earth versus round Earth theory, and people arguing back and forth. You got um, rapper like Bob. You got a lot of people coming out saying the Earth is flat, and I call myself woke. I call myself and like pretty enlightened, as in a lot of stuff is in history and everything. So when you talk about this flat Earth versus a round Earth thing, like I said, both sides have a pretty good argument, but a lot of them is not. A lot of people are not taking certain aspects of the flat Earth versus the globe uh, theory or whatever, and this is why they come up with. Then we gotta go back in time. So the 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 devil is the master of deceptions, and this is for you Christians, you Catholics, and everything. Like a lot of people want to, especially in America, we want to say that we Christians, we're Catholics, and whatever, we believe in God, but we like to. It's called cognitive dissonance. Like when somebody brings something to the table that goes against your belief or your outlook on things, you like to ignore it or go into defense mode. So a lot of people in America like to say that they're Christians, they believe the Bible, but in certain things they don't want to take it in. God said that the earth was flat, it was a dome shape with a firmament around it, and then so we know that the devil is the one that goes against everything that God put in place. And then, so there's like I said, when you do the flat Earth versus the globe, and anybody, if you will, if you want to chime in on the flat Earth versus the globe, chime in because we could do. Because anybody knows me, if you've been listening to me for whatever you think about it, you can tell I'm very knowledgeable. And if I say something, if I talk about something, I did pretty good research on the topic. So if we're gonna do the flat Earth versus the globe, we got first off we got to go off the Bible because the Bible is the oldest book on this earth that we know that has been able to hit every stamp in time. Like from 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, the Bible is even to present day. The Bible has been able to hit every marker as in the time periods. If you got the King James version of the Bible with the 66 books, or if you got the one with the Apocrypha, the one where it talks about fallen angels, giants, and the dinosaurs. And a lot of people now don't know about the Apocrypha. I see you, Crushfield, but listen to me. Listen to me. So, like I said, there's a lot of people like say they believe in God or they believe in the Bible, but you want to do cognitive dissonance when it comes to certain things. And like I said, like when the Bible said the earth was flat with a dome around it, then we get the globe. So then we got to look at, we got the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs. These old civilizations have done wonders that we haven't been able to match to this day. Like we don't still don't know how the Egyptians lifted those 100 tons of boulders and put them together, took granite rock and cut it with laser precision and stacked it on top of them. And they predicted the earth is flat. You got the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Hindus, the Hebrews, all these people, and I see what you said, Deshaun. They say it looks round from space, but it's actually a dome. But I'm getting into that. And so you got the Hebrews, all of these people that said that I'm talking about. We got to look back at time. Some of the things that these people done 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, we still haven't been able to match to this day. They got, like I said, you look at the pyramids in Egypt, we still don't understand how they cut granite rock with laser precision and stack these rocks and whatever, and then they match the constellation. You know what I'm saying? So they couldn't have been that primitive if they was able to take pyramids around the world, not even around the world. They was able to match them up with the stars of the constellation. So they knew something to this day. As if we look at what we've done today, nobody has matched what some of these primitive civilizations have done. We haven't done it. We could say this is a time of European rule, and no European has matched what the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Incas have done as in back in those days. So like I said, we like to say, a lot of people like to say that they Christians and they go about the Bible, they believe the Bible, but when it comes to certain things like homosexuality or whatever, the earth is round, the flat, they like to do cognitive dissonance. So do you halfway trust God, or do you 100% trust God? And then I already told you that we already told you the civilizations that said that the earth was flat, it was a dome, and it was encased with a firmament around it, which the firmament would be the water. These are all brown civilizations, which, like I said, we haven't been able to match it to this day. The people in Egypt can't tell you how the pyramids was made because they wasn't the ones that built it. And then we got to notice when it went from a flat earth to a round earth. And so now that's why I did the research. That came in 1500, in the 1500s, with the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, and the Papal. And if y'all know what the Papal was basically the Spanish Inquisition. Like, there was just some really fucked up church society that did all the genocides, the massacres, and all that with the Vatican, the Roman Catholic Church. That's when the globe came into it. So the Bible says that the devil is the master of deception. So whatever God says, the devil's gonna go against it. God said that the earth was flat, the devil's gonna say that it was round. God said that homosexuality is abomination. The devil's gonna say it's good. So we got to take all of this into it. Then we got to think about where we get the information from, because we get this information. It started in the 1500s, and then if you notice that's when European rule took over in the world. So European rule was kind of getting round up around, I say, let's roughly say about 1300s, 1350, moving to 14, and really in full effect in the 1500s. So if you got brown civilizations that did unprecedented shit with their civilizations, the pyramids or whatever, and they say that it was flat, of course, look at how they whitewash history. You know what I'm saying? They told us Nefertiti was a motherfucking white woman. They told us the Egyptians was white. They tell us that the Hebrews and the children of God are white. Everything's been whitewashed. Everything that was black, they tell us that it was white. And then you got to think about it. For the simple fact is, let's take in, like I said, we got to bring all the information to the board. So let's just take the pyramids matching in South America and in Africa. Instead of saying that black people have been traveling this planet for centuries before Europeans knew that the Americas even existed, and that we was responsible for all of that. They'll rather give credit to aliens, which ain't nobody ever seen, and say that the aliens had something to do with the pyramids matching or whatever. And we ain't never seen no motherfucking aliens, but we all know that the black people, Africans and shit, been traveling the world, establishing civilization. We got Timbuktu, we got Mansa Musa, we got all these empires, we got the Moors, we got the Black Arabians, been traveling the world and knew what the world was before Europeans even knew it was South America. So that's one point. And then they indoctrinate us in a school system that is basically, we send our kids to their school and they tell us this. And this all relates, and don't worry about it, this all relates into the flat earth and the globe versus thing. So they tell us that our kids, there's only one way to solve a math problem. So, and really in a lot of math, there's a lot of different ways to solve a problem. But what they basically do is train your mind to only think one way. So it's like it's indoctrinating you to look at whatever we tell you. If we tell you it's only one way to solve this problem, that's it. There's no other way, whatever. Even if you figure it out, it's still wrong, but you got the answer right. So then, like I said, we have to take in where we get this information from. And we get this information from people that really, they don't even give a fuck if we got healthcare, if we got legit food, if our food has GMO, whatever. So we can't really trust the information come from a source like that. So then, so we got this globe versus flat earth. And then if we look at it like this, in 1931, it was a dude, what's his name? Auguste Piccard. He was the one that did the flat. He's the one, the first one that ever went up in the stratosphere and took a hot air balloon with a ball and went up in the stratosphere. He was the first one to deal, or what if you want to call out of interstellar travel, whatever. Basically, he went the highest in the atmosphere, whatever. And when he done it in 1931, he said that the Earth was flat with a curvature at the end. And then it was a firmament around it. And then so 1948, 1950 is when NASA took over. And then it went from it. You can go and research this. There's even videos of him talking about the situation. And it looks like they having him read something off of, because he died in like 1968. So when he stated that the world was flat with a curvature, he was the first man that ever went up above went the highest ever in history. NASA had him trained. He died in 1960. I think NASA came about in 1950. And then so, like I said, and then we have this thing called Antarctica. Antarctica, nobody knows after all this time, they never show us what Antarctica look like. They say it's a big piece of ice and it's inhabitable, but y'all niggas got drones. Y'all say that y'all done went out of space, but y'all haven't went to the depths of the sea. You done went out of space, but you haven't took a drone or plane or whatever over Antarctica to show us what Antarctica is. So what is basically Antarctica? So then we have to take, then you got to think, if we look at we got to take the character of where our information come from. We get to a point now that we are realizing that history, as they told us, is actually false. They told us that the Indians, with Thanksgiving and the Pilgrims came over here and then whatever. We come to find out them was number motherfucking rejects from England that was prisoners, rapists, and killers. And they sent them over to establish America. They tell us to celebrate St. Patrick's Day when that was really just a massacre of the Pygmy people, which are biblical Canaanites. And so they tell us all of this shit and say, all right, it's good, celebrate it. And then we come to find out that it's not. And then at the same time, they established to me so much shit from Christmas in church and Santa Claus and Easter Bunny and once I bringing Esther into the church. So we gotta get where we get this information, and it's a group collective thing because it's a massive deception going on. And then so we got a thing called Antarctica, which they still haven't showed us what Antarctica is. And if you look at the United Nations thing, it's basically the logo is a picture of a flat Earth with Antarctica going around the edge of it. And like I said, you can research and look at shit up and look at, you can do the United Nations. That's exactly, it's a flat Earth thing because they have shit in plain sight. Just because if we still believe the lies that they give us, they know that they still control us, and we still puppets to whatever the fuck is going on, if you won't believe it or not. And then so, but like I said, in Antarctica, they, even when you get into the flat earthers and all, like I'm very open with it all. They basically say that Antarctica, which we know is a big block of ice, is is a tall block of ice, is the outside of the Earth. And if you ever look at somebody do a model of how you go east to west, north to south on a flat Earth, it works out better than it actually would to be a globe. And then so now we got to take into the consideration. They say that the Earth is moving around the sun and the moon, and then when the moon is this certain way, the water fluctuates this way, and it causes tides and rises and everything. But then, so if that's the case, why when the moon and the sun is on one side of Earth, all the water doesn't pull to one side, or like a major fluctuation, which it really should be if that is the case. But a lot of the shit don't make sense. And then on top of that, let's go back to the Egyptians. If the Earth is round and it's going around the sun with the moon or whatever, and they say the sun is shooting through the galaxy, whatever, as the Earth and the other planets follow the sun, whatever. So if the Egyptians matched up the pyramids with the constellation, the Orion belt and all of that. So if the Earth is a spinning ball this constant spin. They say it spins at like 1,000 miles per hour or whatever. Why does these stars is so you tell me for 4,000 years that the Earth has stayed like it hasn't tilted its axis, and if that's the case, if it matches up with the constellation and it's spinning, why does the stars in the constellation always stay matched up with the Egyptian pyramids? That would make sense if it was a flat plane. If it's a spinning ball, it should only be a certain time of the day when the pyramids in Egypt match up with the constellation. But with the Egyptian pyramids was done 4,000 years ago, and the constellation that the pyramids is matched up with still matches, and that don't make sense. Like, so you telling me that the stars, that the constellation that the pyramids is matched up is moving at the same rate as the Earth and as it goes around the sun, and it's been able to keep up with this perfect timing for 4,000 years. And this is after we know the comets and shit and asteroids and meteors that hit Earth, and it still matches up. All the Egyptians pyramids matching up with the constellation would make sense if it's a flat Earth. It doesn't make sense if it's a ball. And it's like I said, it's cognitive dissonance. When people hear the shit, we've been taught that, like I said, they teach us, they indoctrinate us with there's only one way to solve a problem in math, when there's many ways you can solve a problem. You know what I'm saying? So they teach us one way, and then when somebody introduces something, and that's how I had to look. I call myself woke. Like, I didn't, if you keep on my shit, I didn't crack the code on a lot of shit, as in history, black people, and a lot of shit, the Bible, a lot of the shit that they've been teaching us has been false. And like I said, the devil is the master of deception, because the devil always want to be God. You know what I'm saying? The devil can't make humans, so he does artificial intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So like, he's always going to be the yin and the yang. So if God said it, if the Bible stated that the Earth was a flat plane, which it could have a curvature, but it's described it as basically like a snow globe, in which, like I said, when you think of even in the Egyptian pyramids is the main evidence that this Earth is not moving like they say that this Earth is moving. It's not a ball spinning around, because at all times those pyramids match up with the Orion belt. And like I said, for 4,000 years, you telling me that this shit has been going around and spinning and staying on track and matching up perfectly to this day. And like I said, you have to take into examination All right, so the Antarctica is at the top, of what's the Iceman is at the bottom. Antarctica is actually the bottom. See, North Pole, and this is the thing about it is, if it's a globe, North Pole is basically right above Canada, whatever. And a lot of people don't know that you can actually, Russia and Alaska are very close. It used to be a landmass that used to be between. That's how the Indians got here from Africa. They came over through Russia and they went on. There was a landmass that they could go through, and then they came through Alaska, and that's how they ended up here. So the South America, the South Pole would basically be up under like Australia, Africa, South America. But that don't even really make sense, because like I said, even with the moon, if they say the gravitational pull and the water and everything, if it's a globe, that doesn't make sense. But if the sun is, like they say on the flat Earth, they say that the sun is relatively close. It's relatively close. So if the sun and the moon, if the Earth is stationary and the sun and the moon move around the Earth, that actually makes more sense than with a ball. So what was I getting at? Yeah, like with the Egyptians. And then another thing is, I done looked it up. These motherfuckers ain't been able to go to the bottom of the motherfucking ocean yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can only go so far deep down in the sea. So y'all telling me that, and if people don't know, Buzz Aldrin, whatever his name is, the dude that is supposed to went to the moon, he just confessed to a little girl not about a few weeks ago that they never landed on the moon. He confessed to a girl in an interview. She asked him, like, if we went to the moon, why haven't we been back? And he's like, that's not a question for an 8-year-old. He's like, it did so in so many words. He started, and he was like, well, we never went to the moon, and that's how it happened. You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest. Now let's take in the moon landed and everything. So we see that little flimsy ass model of what they said landed on the moon. That shit looked like motherfucking aluminum foil, some thin ass metal and whatever. So you told me that shit went out of space and landed on the moon and was able to take off and everything. And then we got to take in consideration, it's like I didn't look this 495 negative degrees in outer space. You know how fucking cold that is? You know how fucking cold it is. Wood turns into glass. Metal turns into glass when it's that cold. It shatters on precision. Then we got to think if outer space is what they say is outer space and meteors is moving at 1,000 miles per hour and whatever, you get a tornado can send a straw through a tree. So if outer space is filled up with pebbles and everything, do you know how fast that motherfucker, like a pebble this big, is moving through? And you see those little flimsy ass satellites that they be putting up there. That shit, let a pebble this big come through, it will shoot through the whole fucking what's the name. If a straw could be thrown through a tree by a tornado, imagine what a pebble this big moving at 1,000 miles per hour would look like hitting one of those flimsy ass satellites they say is orbiting the Earth. And then let's take into consideration of what NASA's satellites look like. So they say that it's thousands of millions, hundreds of satellites that they done lost that's orbiting around the world. So you got to think, once these satellites, so-called satellites, is running around the world, they out of control. So they can't control the speed of them. They just moving, zooming around the orbit, 1,000 miles per hour. So you telling me that you able to throw, while you got loose debris moving around, you able to throw another satellite in there that could dodge the other shit that's moving around? And then when we look at NASA, when we look at the satellites and they show pictures of the satellite, pictures of Earth, where's the other fucking satellites? Where's Russia's satellite? Because when man does anything, it's always room for error. You know what I'm saying? Only God does things 100%. Man does it. God don't do nothing halfway. When man does it, it's always room for error. So if NASA's giving us real images of outer space, what the fuck is the other satellites? If you can pull up an image of a satellite and it has images of other satellites, like I said, there's other countries that's supposed to have activity in outer space, and even America should have like a nice bit of satellites in outer space. And these satellites supposed to be pretty big. It ain't like they pretty small. So they say. So where is the pictures of the satellites and the loose satellites that y'all done lost throughout time? Because they always show us this perfect picture of a pretty Earth and it's going right around the curve. Because they want us to believe it's a ball, so they always show the picture with it looking like a ball. But you never see no other satellites. Because like I said, if we got them out there, Russia's supposed to have them, China's supposed to have them. Where's the other satellites? And they don't show us that shit. And then so another thing we got to take in consideration is negative 495 Celsius degrees out there. Do anybody have a clue how cold that is? Like I said, glass and wood turns into glass. I mean, wood and metal turns into glass in that type of degrees. You know what I'm saying? It gets real brittle. So you telling me that you able in a negative 495 degrees Celsius, you're able, and we all have seen those spacesuits, like they pretty thin. You know what I'm saying? They can move their fingers and shit. They can move their fingers in the little space suits or whatever. So in negative 495 degrees Celsius, you able to get outside the spaceship. You know, even your spaceship should really basically turn to brittle ass glass. And so you able to get out of the spaceship, walk around in outer space, float around the spaceship at negative 495 degrees Celsius and not freeze to death. But then we got to think about the spacesuits. So how much heat are y'all pumping into these motherfucking flimsy ass spacesuits? Because like I said, like nigga, we can bundle up. You can go in 0 degrees and have on many layers, and your ass is still gonna be cold. You know what I'm saying? That's what 0 degrees. Give it about 10 minutes being out negative 1, negative 2, you're gonna be cold real quick. So I don't give a fuck. It ain't that NASA. People always be like, well, it's the material that it's made out of that keeps them insulated. bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't got no material that's a good. And then we gotta think about if it's 400 negative 400 495 degrees Celsius, how much heat are you pumping into this spacesuit to stay warm? How much are you pumping in? Or you gotta be, because you gotta think like you have to do a nice variant. So if it's negative 495 degrees, you gotta be doing a nice bit of heat into a spacesuit to keep the motherfucker that's in the spacesuit warm. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to, and in the space shuttle, like how you producing all this heat to combat negative 495 degrees Celsius? It doesn't make sense. And then if they say that if meteors come through the atmosphere or whatever, come through the atmosphere, and so they could be so motherfucking big, a big ass boulder, and then by the time it reaches down to the ground, and by the time the meteor hits the ground, it has been reduced because of the heat that has been collected on that rock. And you gotta think some of these meteors, they saying this is some tough ass rocks and shit that we ain't even got on Earth. And so with the heat coming back through the atmosphere, it's reducing big ass boulders down. Some of them come down as baseball size, which is still gonna do a nice bit of damage. You know what I'm saying? But so you tell me that your spaceship, which they taking basically ceramic towel and put, especially the old spaceships when they said that they was going out of space for the moon, and they would put a ceramic towel around the motherfucking spaceship, and they was able. So you took ceramic towel out into outer space, which is negative 495 degrees Celsius, which is cold as fuck, and was able to have that spaceship out there and it functioned. And then with the same thing that was able to withstand very, very cold, come through an atmosphere which is getting hot. Cause you know how they show us the image of how it comes through and it's always flaming and shit. So this motherfucking spaceship that you got ceramic towel on is able to withstand the heat of coming back into the atmosphere. They never really went out of space, fam. Like I said, Buzz Aldrin came out about a few weeks ago and said we never went to the moon. And if you went to the moon, why haven't you went back? Because you never went there. Like they tried, but they ain't been successful. And it ain't what they thought it was, what it was. And then what's another thing? I mean, it's just so much, there's so many holes in this story of the earth being round. Like I said, it's basically, God said the earth was flat with a dome. The devil's gonna say that it's round. It's the mass. It's deception. It's deception at its greatest. And like I said, and we know that we live in a society where our government and everything don't give a fuck if we got good food, if we got health care. They don't give a fuck about that. They lied to us about all the history of the world. Like I said, when it comes even about the pyramids matching South America, they'd rather say that the aliens had something to do with that than to say black people been controlled, been circling the been adventuring the world for centuries before they even knew. Like I said, the world didn't go from flat to a ball until Europeans took over the world. Let's be honest. Like I said, the Egyptians, the Hindu, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Hebrew, all of these people had civilizations that they done remarkable things that we still can't figure out to this day, and they have done great things. Like it ain't a building in America that can match up with the constellation and withstand 4,000 years like the pyramids are. So how are you gonna say that your technology, you know more than them people did? And they said that the world was flat, but like I said, all of these people that said it was flat was brown and black races. It didn't change up until the Europeans, and Europeans took over the power of the world. And like I said, it started with the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, and the Papal in the 1500s. That's when everything changed. Like I said, so when we talk about where we get our information, like I said, we have to take the character of where this information is coming from. As in when we like I said, we have a school system that we all know is failing our children to the 100% to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Like our children ain't learning shit. They teaching our children that it's only one way to solve a problem. You know what I'm saying? Even a math problem, whatever. And there's plenty of ways to solve a lot of math problems, but they indoctrinate us to think one way. They teach our kids to think one way. And like I said, if you don't believe me, the first man that ever went to the stratosphere, his name was Augustus Picard, and that's who you got. That's who they modeled off on Star Trek. What's his name? General Picard, the bald head dude. It was off of him because he was the first dude that went into the stratosphere, and he described the world as a flat plane with a curvature, which was a dome. And then, like I said, and that was 1931. It didn't switch up into a globe 100% until NASA took over in 1950. And then let's take another thing. We all know that Africa is bigger than Europe. Africa's big enough to sit all the continents, and this is bad, and this is real talk. Africa is big enough to sit all the continents in it. China, America, South America, and all of these countries in Europe and Australia can sit inside of Africa. South America is officially bigger than North America. Australia is bigger than Greenland, but when we see a globe, they portray as North America and Europe being bigger than the Southern Hemisphere continents, when actually the Southern Hemisphere continents are bigger. So if we know by square miles and everything that the Southern Hemisphere continents are bigger than the Northern Hemisphere continent, and that's proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that they bigger in square miles. Why does, when they show us a picture of the Earth, North America, Europe, and everything is still bigger than South America and Africa? You got to ask yourself, like, if it's big, if Africa is big as it is, like I said, you can fit all the continents into Africa. And Africa's fucking huge. North America's not that big. South America's bigger than North America. Europe is not that big. Russia's not that big. They depict it on the Western, because, like I said, we got to get where we get in the source of all of this information. When the Europeans took over control of the world through the genocides, the Spanish, the Crusades, the massacres, and everything, they started painting it. They took it. They started painting the world for how they wanted to look. So they took the European, the Northern Hemisphere, and made it look bigger than the Southern Hemisphere, where actually the Southern Hemisphere continents are actually bigger. So we always, like I said, when you take this information, you have to see where you're getting the source from. And then NASA gives us what they say that the Earth look like, but it don't match up to what it, like, the continents don't match up. It's just simple. It's plain. It's fact. Like I said, if you could Google a picture of Earth coming from NASA 2018, and it's gonna show North America being bigger than South America, Africa being smaller. It's gonna show you just how they show you on a motherfucking globe. So with the technology and digital, whatever, the way that they can, you know what I'm talking about, CGI. Yeah, CGI. It's possible you can make the shit look realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, Greenland ain't that motherfucking big. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this shit ain't that big, but they perpetrate the lie, because, like, it's making it, like I said, when people start realizing, when we start waking up to what the lies is and what the truth is, they know that they losing control of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know that that's the reason why when certain people talk certain shit, they shut it down. Like, especially on the internet, people start talking about shit. 9 out of 10, if it's something on the internet that motherfuckers talk about, and they start taking it down and they start shutting it up, 9 out of 10, that's the shit you really need to be listening to, because the lies there keep that shit out. You know what I'm saying? If everybody was just be like Tesla Thread and be like, the Earth is flat, make it a trending topic, they'll start shutting that shit down. They'll shut down Facebook. They'll start blocking motherfuckers. Anything that says flat Earth or whatever, they'll break it down, because they know that people are waking up. Like I said, I call myself woke. So a lot of people want to do cognitive discipline when it comes to certain information, especially like you. And that's the thing, the hypocrisy of Christians, Catholics, whatever you want to call yourself. You know what I'm saying? Bible chasers. Your God said that, well, I ain't gonna say your God, my God too, but your God said that the Earth was flat and it was a dome. But you get the motherfuckers that then for the last 6,000 years, it's been painted as the Earth being flat. So the Europeans came into power, and all of a sudden went from flat into a globe. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know when to switch up. But then we talk about the same motherfuckers changed the image of Christ. You know, when the Bible depicted Christ as a man of color. You know what I'm saying? Africa is black now, was blacker then. It wasn't no Europeans. It wasn't no white people in Africa. People in Israel, they dying from skin cancer right now because they not supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if Africa's black now, 2,000 years ago, we can say it was blacker. So this is the same people that said that Jesus was look like Brad Pitt with long hair and shit. So we can't go off of what the fuck they have to say because they lied about the image of Christ. So if you take the image, really it was never supposed to be no image of Christ. So they was there wrong for even making an image of him anyway. So if you took and made a false image of Christ and painted it to the world, you took Caesar Borgia, Pope Alexander VI's son, which was a warmonger, a homosexual and everything, and you took him and you made him the image of Christ and you perpetrated that to the whole world, anything's a go. If you'll play with God and the imagery of God, if you'll make an image when God even said don't make an image, you would do anything. You would deceive the world in anything. So like I said, we have to take where we get this information from. And like I said, when I sat back and thought about it, it only makes sense that the world is flat. Or like in a dome, and like I said, because if it was round and it was circular and it was always spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, as they say, and it goes around the sun and whatever, and we know that the Orion Belt and the Milky Way, all of that shit somewhere else, and that shit ain't even that close to the Earth and the sun like that. So why is this shit still matching up? Why does the pyramids in Egypt still match to the constellation? If it's spinning around, like I said, if it was spinning, it should only match up at a certain time. And it's been matched up for 4,000 years. But if it's a flat plane and the Earth is stationary, that's the only reason why. That's the only reason. And even if it is a ball, it's not moving, it's not spinning. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a ball, because that's the only way we can explain why the pyramid stay matched up with the constellation, with the Orion Belt. But like I said, nobody ever thinks about this, and we so indoctrinated on whatever they tell us. Like I said, then we gotta take everything that's been brought to the table and see what they that they didn't lie to us throughout time. They have lied to us about so much. Like I said, they lied to us about the holidays we celebrate. They lied to us about the image of Christ. They tell us that the Easter Bunny, they have us bring fucked up shit into the church. They lied to us about St. Patrick's Day. It's so much shit that they lie about that, you know what I'm saying, that didn't have us support it. Like I said, if most people knew a long time ago what Thanksgiving was really built around was a massacre, genocide of some Indians, and because England decided to get rid of some of their prisoners and send them over here to establish a new land, and they just came over here raping, pillaging, and everything. We wouldn't even celebrate Thanksgiving, but they painted a picture to make it seem like it was so motherfucking glorious, and it was the founding fathers, and it was the founding motherfucking crooks, rapists, and murderers. Let's be honest. And motherfuckers is cracking the code on all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? We realizing that shit is all of lie. You know what I'm saying? Even when you get into the history of Europe, would they lie about Europe? You know what I'm saying? Like I was just talking to a dude the other day. We was talking about he was Italian. He was talking about he's Italian and Italy, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, look here, everything that you didn't explain to me is not accomplishment of the Italian people that's in Italy. Everything what Italy is was established by the Moors and the Black Arabians. You know what I'm saying? I know it's been told to you that y'all did that shit, but y'all wasn't responsible for that. Even Europe. Europe was not established by Europeans. They took that shit over eventually. You know what I'm saying? But that shit was done by the Moors and shit. Europe, that's the reason why Germany, the real inhabitants of Germany was black. The real inhabitants of the Ireland was basically the Pygmy people. You know what I'm saying? Irish motherfuckers, them motherfuckers in Ireland and Ireland right now is not the natural inhabitants. They moved into that shit and murdered plenty of fucking people for their land like they have done everywhere else. But then they lied, they paint the picture to be so glorious and whatever. And then, like I said, a lot of people don't even know that the first pope was black. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know that because they paint. Like I said, that's the reason why you have to take where you get your history and where you get your information from, because you getting your information from a whole bunch of thieves, liars, and deceivers. You know what I'm saying? And the code is being cracked. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been lying and deceiving for since they took over in the 1500s. And this ain't no hate speech or nothing. Let's just be honest. And a lot of people, if they want to accept it or not, a lot of people is waking up to the shit that's been going on. Like I said, like thank God for the internet and the flood of information. Everybody's learned the truth that all of this shit that's been told to us is a lie. So why stop with just history and what they've been told? Like I said, they told Nefertiti was white, the Egyptians was white, and they painted in the movie as white. And so they've been lying about everything to our face. And then a lot of people just want to be like, oh, it's okay. They just lied. So that's not okay. And then they tell us that we living on a flat plane, on a globe, when that's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm rolling with what God said. I don't give a fuck what y'all said. Like now I think about it, like I said, I'm woke up and all different other shit. Like I might as well wake all the way up and I'm rolling with God, because one thing I know about that Bible is that motherfucker has matched every moment of time. You know what I'm saying? From 4,000 years ago to now, his match hit every marker. And if, like I said, if you get the whole Bible with the pop-up, you'll know that all of that shit is matching. And it ain't missing a beat. You know what I'm saying? Even like a lot of people don't even know now we moving into the last days. And they lied to us about that. So what makes you think they ain't gonna lie to us about the world? The world is in shambles right now. They done fucked up the world. The Pacific Ocean is dead. If a lot of people don't understand this, and this is where you get these hurricanes, thank you, Angie. What up, girl? But where you think that we getting all of these hurricanes, these tornadoes, these weird ass what's called, they fucked up the whole world. You know what I'm saying? They done fucked up the whole world and they lied to us. Pacific Ocean is dead, been dead for about 2 years. A lot of people don't know it because they keep our mind fucked up. If you remember 4 or 5 years ago, that big ass power plant went down in in Japan, Fukushima, which was a big ass power plant. The nuclear reactors, when the shit blew, the nuclear reactors the coils went down into the center of the earth. You can research this shit if you don't believe me. Went down into the center of the earth, and so there's nuclear. So that's where all of this weird shit is coming from. And then we got to take in Hiroshima. Hiroshima was what, 50, 60 years ago? That shit's still radioactive. Them Chinese people still coming out with cleft lips. Deformed motherfuckers coming out with no legs and no arms and shit. So if this is a nuclear reactor that just went off about 5 years ago, right there at the water, and this is the reason why for the people that I know that live in Cali and from Cali, and if we go to the beach and shit, that's why you see all those dead fish and shit and all those weird ass alien species washing up on the shore, because they all moving away from Japan. You know what I'm saying? Because that radiation. If you look it up, there's been a new species of whale and dolphin mix. So you tell me whales and dolphins been in the motherfucking water fucking, you know what I'm saying? But that comes from the radiation. You know what I'm saying? And they call them a dolphin or some shit like that. But they dolphin and whale mix. And so they killed the Pacific Ocean, and they still got people in California swimming in the water. And this is how you know that that shit is radioactive, because if you look up, they just stated on the news that the wine in California is testing for radiation. So if the wine in California is testing for radiation, that means the water it got radiation in it. The beach is fucked up. The fish is coming out fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So if you eat fish up out of shit, I'm vegan, so I don't give a fuck. But if you eat fish up out of that motherfucker, that shit's radioactive. Like, and they not telling people. They don't give a fuck about the world or people enough to tell people in California to stop eating and drinking that water or whatever. I just move a fucking way. They just letting the shit just go on. Pacific Ocean been dead. We got the fucking crazy ass fires going on in California. Like I said, we got tornadoes and shit in the Midwest. We got weird ass storms and shit, weird ass clouds popping up all over the world. Indonesia just got a motherfucking 7.0 earthquake. Alaska just got one 2 days ago. It was like 6.6, like a 6.2 earthquake, and all of this shit because, like I said, the Bible has been on point. Like, we moving into the last days. A lot of motherfuckers don't even know it because they keep us in la la land. They got sports moving all year round. So if you watching sports, I don't watch sports. So when I'm at home and shit, I chill. I might smoke, drink a little bit, read my book, research some shit. So I pay attention. You know what I'm saying? For y'all motherfuckers that like sport, that when football season's over, y'all start watching horse racing. When horse racing is over, y'all start watching soccer, and then y'all start watching. Y'all don't know what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? And I pay attention there because they keep us distracted on all this shit, so we don't people like it's really the time when motherfuckers need to get right with God to get some understanding. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of shit, but like I said, they keeping us blind. And like I tell people all the time, America is the modern day Rome and the Babylon. And if you know the history of Babylon and everything, America falls right it falls right under Rome, and it falls right under Babylon. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? We got the gladiator games. A lot of people Rome, when Rome fell, a lot of people couldn't see how it happened. But the simple fact is, they couldn't see how Rome fell because they were so distracted with the shit. Because they, like I said, because in Rome they kept them with the gladiator shit, kept them festivities, had a party, and they was having the big ass orgies and shit, and they was keeping them full and everything. And the same motherfucker, what they make it seem like Rome civilization fell and whatever. That many people don't disappear, fam. The same motherfuckers that's running the world now is the same motherfuckers that was the Romans. You know, so they just went to different lands, changed their name, like how they took black people and scattered us around the world. They started calling us Haitians, Jamaicans, Negroes, African Americans, and whatever. They did the same thing to us, but they lied to us about who we was. But they just changed their name to hide their identity. And so the same motherfuckers that was in Rome and Babylon and all that shit, that did all that fucked up shit, them is the same motherfuckers that we dealing with now. You know what I'm saying? It's the same system, and a lot of people don't know. Like, that's why I said, if you know the Roman Catholic Church history, the Vatican's history, and all of that shit, and the Papal and all of that, it's still the same system that was running Rome that's running the world, that's, well, falsely running the world today. You know what I'm saying? It's the same people. You know what I'm saying? They just start, like I said, they moved into different lands and start calling themselves German and Poland and Swiss, Dutch and all of that shit. And you know what I'm saying? Them is the same motherfuckers that was in Rome. And like I said, America's a new Rome. And a lot of people, like I said, and you can tell by the way that they keep us entertained, that they running this shit like Rome, because you gotta think, even though it's a different time, it's a spirit in the people. You know what I'm saying? It's the spirit in them that keeps it going. It's the bloodline. So the people that's doing the shit that got America functioning, they got the spirit of their great grandfathers and their ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why they love sports and all of it, because they doing the same shit that they was doing over. But like I said, for motherfuckers, they don't realize it because they keep us in la la land. Every time you look up, there's something new to catch your attention. They put a new app out there that everybody loves. You start taking pictures and putting motherfucking dog ears on you and shit, and nobody's paying attention. They really, they gonna keep doing it, but black people, we need to wake the fuck up and break the matrix. You know what I'm saying? Fall out of love with America. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, this shit is getting crazy. Like I said, and then we gotta look at the see. Why would you follow a system, keep following a system and following beliefs that motherfuckers that don't even, and black people, we should never believe none of this shit. This earth is round and shit. We shouldn't believe none of these motherfuckers got to give us, because they ain't never done right by us anyway. And that's the reason why it's kind of easier for me to accept the flat earth thing. Like I said, I'm rolling with God on that. And then I gotta look at who I'm getting this information from. They don't give a fuck about us. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck about their own people. Like I said, they same bullshit they feed black people, they feed white people. You know what I'm saying? They kill white people with their cancer cells food. They don't give a fuck. So why would you can't trust the information. So in that argument, like I said, I think the flat earth is winning. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, because like my point is Antarctica, like I said, they say the Antarctica is the outskirts of the earth. Sounds about right. It's a big ass wall. You know what I'm saying? Why does the pyramids if the earth is spinning and it's moving around the sun, and why is it still the pyramids in Egypt still match up with the constellation or the Orion belt and all that shit? That if it's a flat plane, that makes sense. But if it's a ball spinning, the only time those pyramids should match up with the constellation is at a certain time of day. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it should still be off because they say that the Earth has moved in the last 4,000 years. So even if it should be off a little bit, and then we have to take in the fact that those civilizations was way more advanced than we did when it came to the shit that they done. So all of these civilizations was brown people. So when the brown people was running the world, we said the world was flat. When white people took it on, like we ain't going off, even though we know the world's flat, we not going off what the niggas said. You know what I'm saying? We not even gonna give them niggas credit for the motherfucking pyramids matching in South America and Africa. We're gonna say that aliens did that. We're not gonna tell the world that niggas been traveling the world for centuries before we even knew America existed. So, like I said, we need to stop. People need to stop listening to me doing that cognitive dissonance shit. And when people bring in new information to you, just listen to it. Like I said, I was against it at first until I started doing the research and thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And then I listened to the first motherfucker. I listened to read the manuscripts of the first dude that went into the stratosphere, when he said that the world was a flat plane with a curvature around it, and it had a firmament like the Bible described it. Then, like I said, that was 1931. It did switch up until 1950 until NASA came along, and then they made him change his story, and then the world became a globe. And then, like I said, and this is another thing, I'm running down all the facts because I'm about to close this shit. And so we know that Africa is bigger than Europe. Africa's big enough for all the continents to fit into. We know that South America is bigger than North America. We know that Greenland is smaller than Australia. We know all the continents on the southern hemisphere is bigger than the northern hemisphere. Is bigger than the northern hemisphere. But when they show us pictures of the Earth, what they say is outer space. The Northern America is always bigger than South America. Europe is always bigger than Africa. When in our reality, Africa is the motherland of all its whole planet. You know what I'm saying? And then I just thought about this. If we're gonna do Pangea, when all the continents was together, that would make more sense if it was a flat Earth. Because if it was a Pangea and the Earth was round, wouldn't it throw off the balance of the Earth if all the land was gathered up into one little area? You know what I'm saying? Like, even Pangea don't sound right and don't sound possible on a flat Earth, because that would throw off the balance of it. Like, it's like when you have your car tire, when it spins, you have to put the little weights in certain places to keep the balance on it, stop it from feeling like it's bouncing or whatever. So if they say Pangea was real and all the continents was together, that don't sound right on the globe. But that sound right if the Earth is flat. So that's another thing. And then, like I said, another thing is, why ain't y'all showing us what Antarctica look like? I mean, y'all like to discover and show what other shit on National Geographic. Why ain't y'all showing us what Antarctica? So, like I said, even if it's too cold for you to go yourself, y'all niggas got drones and shit. They can fly. Y'all can remote control fly some shit over Antarctica. It's way too motherfucking cold. And outer space is 400. They say it's negative 495 degrees Celsius outer space. And like I said, at negative 495 degrees Celsius, still metal turns into the glass. Everything becomes will shatter with a little bit amount of pressure at that cold. So you tell me, for negative 495 degrees, that your little funky ass spacesuit that you can still wiggle your fingers in is warm enough to withstand 495 degrees. And then, like I said, if it's negative 495 degrees, how much motherfucking heat are y'all pumping into this motherfucker, into this spacesuit with oxygen? You know what I'm saying? Like, where you getting all this heat from with oxygen, and where you getting all the heat for the space shuttle? Because you got to keep that motherfucker warm. So, like I said, negative 495 degrees, you at least got to have a heat that's negative 200, negative 100 or something. You know what I'm saying? Got to be a nice little ratio. So that shit don't make sense. The moon landing was all right. He admitted that we never went to the moon. And then if the Earth is bigger than the moon, if you look at the picture of the Earth and the moon, when they say they took a picture from the moon, why does the Earth look so motherfucking small? You know what I'm saying? The moon looks like a nice little size from here. So if you on the moon looking at the Earth, why would the Earth look way bigger. You know what I'm saying? Look like the Earth is little over a little horizon. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't make sense. And then you gotta look at the lighting of the moon landing. You know what I'm saying? Because really, for the way that they pictured it, the way that they pictured it, even the lighting on the moon versus the Earth don't even look right. It's so much shit that shows that this shit is fake. And then, like I said, we gotta take where we get this information from. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this ain't no hate bill. Let's be honest. The people that we get this information from is the biggest deceivers in world's history to this day. These are the descendants, the children, the great grandchildren of some of the biggest murderers, rapers, liars, deceivers, just deceptive motherfuckers in the history of the world. And if you can prove me wrong, you can do your research. You can do your research, and you can look at it and put them in the comments, and I hit that shit back. But like I said, I just ran it down. Like I said, we've never been to Antarctica. It's way too fucking cold. Then they haven't even discovered all the motherfucking ocean yet. You ain't went to the depths of the ocean, but you tell me you went to the moon, and then you went. Then let's bring up Mars. I forgot about that one. Damn, this video just keep going as I think about it. Let's think about Mars. All the pictures that they sending back saying that they're on Mars, they showing back as inhabited. They matching up with pictures of Egypt and Ireland. Like they going to places like there ain't nobody really going and taking pictures of it and changing the color grade of it. Say this is Mars. This is what Mars look like. And then motherfuckers like I know where that is, and they debunking that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then let's be honest on the motherfucking let's be honest on the radio waves. So if you sending a rover from Earth to Mars, you got enough radio frequency to control this little remote control car from Earth in real time. You know, because we talking about light years away. So like if we light years away from Mars or whatever, however long, it took it 2 years for the motherfucking rover to even get to Mars. How long would it take for the signal to control the motherfucker to get there? So if I'm right now and I'm trying to control the motherfucking signal for the remote control car on Mars, how long is it gonna take for that signal to get there? They ain't gonna just zap, you know what I'm saying, zap there. They ain't like it's a wire connected to the motherfucker. So how you controlling it if that's really what this little rover is, you know what I'm saying? Because it's motherfuckers that live in rural country Kentucky and rural country Nevada right now, they can't get motherfucking cell phone reception. They can't get cell phone reception. So you tell me that y'all got enough power to send the signal from Earth to Mars and control that little motherfucker? Like I said, all of those pictures is being debunked. They being debunked for being fakes. And they showing people are showing exactly where they getting these pictures from. One of the pictures is from Egypt. The other one's from Ireland. There's a whole bunch of pictures they showing. They say that is not even Mars. That's on Earth. And then let's do, like I said, if y'all been out of space, y'all say that everything moves by satellite. Let's be honest. We ain't getting our frequencies. Our cell phone signal from no motherfucking from no satellite ass space. That shit is coming from these little towers they got all around town. This microwaving motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. And that's how you get your cell phone reception. And then another thing is, if you got satellites out there, why ain't people got no GPS in the country and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like if these satellites is popping and shit, why we can't get GPS in rural areas? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of time in the communication that a lot of people don't even know. I did my research. A lot of the communication we do, how we do it from overseas, they didn't send the cable. They didn't put a cable that runs from land to land. This is basically a cable that goes from here to Europe and to Africa and all this shit. It's like a cable system that they didn't put in place. Yeah, you know I'm going ham, but yeah, they didn't put in. They got a cable system that goes from America to the other countries. That shit ain't like when we on the internet and we connected to motherfuckers in Europe and shit. We not doing that shit. We not doing that shit from no satellite. You know what I'm saying? We doing that shit. We doing that shit from cables that they done ran through the ocean. Like everything is allowed. Like I said, at the same time, you got to take back to the drawing board where you get your information. Like I said, the 1500s, the world went from flat to a globe through the Roman Catholic Church and the Papal. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the ancient civilizations, their technology was way better. They said it was way better. They said the Earth was flat. You know what I'm saying? It didn't and they was all brown civilization. When the Europeans took over, that's when it went to a globe. So like I said, they lied about Christmas. They lied about everything. They lied about everything. Everything. So why would I believe that it's a globe? And that's my route. And if you got a hell of an argument, and if you think you can prove it wrong, like I said, like I know a dude that's in physics, and he said Auguste Piccard was the dude, and I looked up Auguste Piccard, and then I read the Popular Science from 1932 and 1933 that he published, and he said that in the Popular Science, and you can go online and research this, that when he went up into the stratosphere, that the Earth was a flat plane with a curvature at the end. And that's who they base physics and shit off of. And that's where you get Captain Picard off of Star Trek from. Because that's what his argument was with Auguste Piccard. I was like, all right, let me go research him. And he came back, and he said the Earth was a flat plane. And like I said, most people don't want to accept it or even put thought into it because you're indoctrinated to believe whatever the fuck motherfucker tell you. Motherfuckers don't research shit. They don't research shit and don't put thought into shit. And that's the same thing that, like I said, look at me, motherfuckers throughout the last 400 years believed that Christ was a white man. And when it don't make sense that a white man is living in motherfucking Africa, and a white baby, so Jesus Christ, when Joseph and Mary was running from the army and shit, and he white than a motherfucker, and when he was in Israel and they was trying to save his life, they ran into Egypt, which Egypt was black. Egypt was a black country, so it's like me trying to have in a party full of white people. So they took baby white Jesus and ran him into Egypt around a bunch of niggas and tried to hide him. But nobody ever thought about that. Like, how could Jesus be white when Egypt was black and they hit him in a black Egypt and they was able, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't make sense because nobody thinks. We just believe what a motherfucker tell us. We believe a motherfucker what they tell us and keep us going. You know, and that goes into a lot of areas. And people get a little tipped when I talk about this, you know what I'm saying? If we go, like I said, I go off the Bible, you know what I'm saying? God said that the people will be scattered around the world by ships. They'd be in captivity for 400 years. No one would sell them. They'd be the tail, not the head. They would have a wife and a man would lay with them. They would have kids they won't get to join them. They would plant olive vineyards, and they would not eat from them. They would build a house that they would not dwell in them, and whatever. And a motherfucker come out in 1948 with a Balfour Declaration talking about we the children of God. But then all the motherfucking holy roller Christians around the world never thought to look in the Bible and be like, all right, they say that the people of God, but what did God say? And if they would looked in the Bible, but they didn't want they was like, oh, it's cool, they God's people, but you didn't check with what God said, but you believe in God. You believe in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't, just research some shit. Like, we don't never research. We just go off what motherfucker tells us, indoctrinated. You know what I'm saying? Believe. Like, even I even question what my mama say. And I always have. And my mama, daddy, my granddaddy tell me something, I'm going to take that shit to the drawing board. If you say something, and if it ain't something I can answer easily, I will go to the library and get an encyclopedia. Because I don't know if your information is correct, but most people, we got a society of people that just get bullshit handed down. Like I said, we got to take everything we got to take their school system, we got to take their healthcare into to consideration. Like I said, the school system, they got our kids is coming out more dumb than ever nowadays. Thank the Lord I'm 37 years old and was in the halfway decent before they had a chance to just fuck up everything. We send our kids to these prison-like schools. You know what I'm saying? I've been to prison. Nigga, they got these kids in motherfucking khakis and one color, got them walking in line. They bathrooms ain't got no motherfucking mirrors on. If they do, it's that little jailhouse mirror. If anybody been in jail, that jailhouse mirror, they got the little scratches and shit on it. They tell your kid, do this and stay in formation. And it follows the from school to prison pipeline. They tell them that it's only one way to solve a problem. And so if you teaching kids and teaching people's kids, and you got think people's minds is a hell of a thing. Everybody processes information different. Everybody's not the same. You know what I'm saying? People draw different. They drive different. They dance different. They walk different. They talk different. You can't take a population of people and teach them that there's only one way to do things, or there's only one way to think. You can't do that. And that's what they do. And this is the reason why I said you have to, when they telling us things that like the earth is flat versus the globe, you have to look at the motherfuckers you get the information from. And then you got to think, do they have our interest in their hand? You know what I'm saying? Our best interest in, like, they don't have it. And history has proven, like, we can't even, Flint ain't got clean water. We can't even depend on these motherfuckers to give motherfuckers free water. I mean, good, clean water. We can't depend on us to go to the grocery store and get good, quality food. We can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't get good meat. We can't get shit out of it. We can't get health care. We can't get none of the natural shit that should be normal to human existence. Human rights, we can't get it from them, but we expect for them to tell us the truth about certain shit. Take that shit to a drawing board. I'm out.